if you have been diagnosed with an allergy, maybe you're carrying an adrenaline pen. Since 2017, schools have been able to stock them in case they're needed.
Now, a growing number of people want to make them available in more places. Airports, restaurants, maybe a gym, to help save more lives. Our reporter Jane McCubbin has been meeting some of them.
For Nazar Ahmed, it was milk, fish, nuts, wheat, apples, oranges. For Karambir Chima, it was tree nuts, wheat, gluten, egg, milk. For Zach Marks, it is nuts. But teacher Elaine Berkshire had no idea she was allergic to anything until one night in July after she drank a ginger beer.
It escalated unbelievably quickly. I was gasping. My chest was sort of becoming concave, trying to pull in breath. My voice dwindled down to almost nothing, so I couldn't communicate what was going on. I knew that my time was running out, and it was a really cold, clear realisation that I needed to make one very good call.
The call she made was to her colleague Jason, back at school 2 minutes away. She knew her symptoms were of anaphylactic shock because they'd just been trained on how to use adrenaline pens in school.
You could sort of tell from how it sounded that it was a very life-threatening situation. My first thought was to grab the kit from the school office and just get round to her house as quick as I could. And it was just a light bulb moment. So the adrenaline pen went in and I just saw the life come back into her eyes and, you know, breathing steadied off. I felt an immediate just relief.
If that resource hadn't have been there, I wouldn't be here either.
Elaine's life was saved because of a change in the law in 2017, which came about because of the tragic death of Karambir.
Hey, okay, now I'm going to show you.
He died after another pupil flicked a piece of cheese at him. His own adrenaline pen was out of date.
They're just like a defibrillator, but for allergies.
Since then, schools have been able to provide adrenaline in an emergency. The kit which saved Elaine's life was supplied to her school by Zach Marks.
We launched at the start of 2023, and in that time they've been used 5 times to treat life-threatening allergic reactions.
That's amazing.
It's incredible.
And every time it happens, how do you feel?
I've cried quite a few times. So our goal is to be every defibrillator's next door neighbour. We want adrenaline pens and training in every public place.
Nazar Ahmed died after an allergic reaction to his school dinner. At his inquest, his paediatrician and the coroner asked if adrenaline could be available in the same way as defibrillators.
Powered on. Stay calm. Follow the instructions.
The chief medical officer said that could not happen. There were very serious clinical concerns over the potential of inappropriate use by lay people. As for the possibility of a school-style rollout of adrenaline to other trained individuals, the medicines regulator told us that could only happen with a new piece of legislation.
Unlike a defibrillator, it's a medicine, it's not a device. It's something that can expire, and there's a question around who carries responsibility for replacing, who pays for it. The obstacles may be there, but I think what we're seeing is a continued trickle of deaths or serious near misses from anaphylaxis that perhaps might be mitigated by this kind of change in legislation and policy.
This is already happening in Ireland. Emma Sloan was 14 when she had an allergic reaction to a Chinese meal in Dublin. She died in the street after a chemist said he was unable to give her a life-saving adrenaline pen without her prescription. A new law now allows pharmacists and other individuals to hold and administer the drug if they have the right training.
James, you are with one of the organisations that's utilised this change in the law. Why?
Well, we are a small beekeeping club here in Cork, and we're concerned, and we were aware of the fact that our apiary is a long distance away from the main road, and we do classes each year, and the new beginners may unknowingly be allergic to bee stings.
Would you be surprised to hear that you are one of only 20 non-educational organisations to do this? Why so few, do you think?
I don't think enough people know about it, maybe. That's it.
The UK has one of the highest prevalence of allergy in the world. Right now, an outline for the UK's very first national strategy for allergy is being considered by medics. The idea of a public rollout of adrenaline is one of very many being considered to prevent future deaths. The Department for Health says it is actively considering how allergy care can be improved.
As a layperson, you would like to see this kind of thing readily available everywhere.
Absolutely. I think it's so important.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's a piece of equipment that should be in all academic circles, it should be on airlines, it should be in all commercial environments where food is served.
I think it should be compulsory.
Jane McCubbin, BBC News.
We're joined now by the chairman of the National Allergy Strategy Group, Professor Adam Fox. Good morning.
Good morning.
Elaine there, we saw, we finished that report saying, I think it should be compulsory. I think it should be compulsory that these adrenaline pens are in these public places, you know, so they're straight away available to be used. Where are you on that?
I'm very sympathetic to that view. I think there's a lot of value in having better access to adrenaline pens. But I think it really needs to be carefully thought through because it's got to be done alongside education and training. There's no value in just having these pens everywhere, but people not knowing when to use them and how to use them. We need really good processes to make sure they don't just go out of date and don't get replaced. And we always have to be really careful about that potential for unintended consequences. So the idea that some people might start to feel that they don't need to take their own adrenaline pens with them because there's bound to be one at the restaurant, or that people don't pay as much attention as maybe they should, or maybe the other way, that restaurants aren't as careful as they should be because they're thinking, well, there's adrenaline here, so if there's a problem, it'll be sorted out that way.
OK, let me kind of come back at you a little bit. Restaurants, it's law, isn't it, that they have to say what allergens, or guidance at the very least, say what allergens are in products.
Well, if they're asked, but unfortunately there's been a catalogue of horrible tragedies.
Absolutely, but they've been highlighted, and they've been highlighted. So maybe we could say restaurants are much more aware. There are people who have no idea they're allergic to certain things, and that's the thing.
We've just seen a lovely example of that.
Exactly. All people who know they're allergic to certain things, and then perhaps it's not said. So having those EpiPens there, those adrenaline pens there, apologies, that's the brand name, those adrenaline pens there can only be a good thing. Doesn't it outweigh the kind of negative? And training, it's happened with defibrillators, hasn't it? So there's no reason it shouldn't happen with these.
Yeah, and there's some excellent examples of other countries, in Ireland, for example, where this has worked well. And I think it's really important that the MHRA, the Department of Health, look carefully at this. And it's one of a number of measures that it would be fantastic if we could progress with in order to just make life better for people who suffer with allergies. But it needs to be alongside all those other improvements in food labelling, in restaurant labelling, managing allergies in schools, managing allergy on aeroplanes. There's so many areas where we could just do better with often quite simple changes in policy, but it just needs a coordinated and joined up bit of thinking and conversations with government to make things happen.
So to be able to deal with the consequences and what to do afterwards, you need to know that you have an allergy.
Absolutely.
So are there a lot of people, I mean, I suppose this is one of those very difficult questions to answer, but are there a lot of people who are thought to have allergies that simply don't know, or have never asked that question?
It's possible that, and of course this is a changing thing, because I strongly suspect that somebody like Elaine, who discovered later in life that she had this allergy, she probably didn't have that allergy 10 or 20 years ago. Things change over time. So people will often ask me about, is there a value in screening everybody? And I think that will be a disaster, because allergy tests are very, very sensitive, and they often come up with false positives. So this has to be done really carefully. And just screening wouldn't work. It would cause chaos.
What then are you recommending? So somebody might be watching now who maybe something happened to them once, they ate something or something, and they think, do you know what, I might have had a... Well, what's the right thing to do? Because some people don't like to waste medics' time. They don't want to make a fuss. Maybe it hasn't happened again. What should people do?
What we really need to see is better access to allergy care. So a better chance that when you go and see your GP, that GP has been properly trained around how to identify allergy, to take a good allergy-focused clinical history, to know what test to order and to be able to do that relatively quickly, and where necessary, to give that person access to an allergy specialist. And we lag a long way behind other developed healthcare economies when it comes to the number of specialists that we have.
If we know we lag as a country, what's being done about it?
Well, there's a lot of lobbying going on. and I'm involved in the National Allergy Strategy Group. I work very closely with specialists at the British Society for Allergy and Clinical Immunology, the big allergy charities. And, well, we're making progress. We've had some very positive responses to reports, but what we've just launched in the last couple of months is the first national allergy strategy. So this is a genuine coming together of the big allergy advocacy groups, Allergy UK, Anaphylaxis UK, the Natasha Research Foundation, with allergy specialists to really start pushing an agenda to put together a proper blueprint for what best practice allergy care should look like around allergy prevention, around access to care, around management of allergies in schools and restaurants, food labelling, all of these different areas, air quality. It's really broad. And what we're going through at the moment is a consultation period. We're actually throwing open to the public, to everybody. Tell us what your big priorities are. What should we be focused on?
When it comes to allergies?
When it comes to allergies.
How do they do that?
So if you Google National Allergy Strategy Group or go to nasguk.org, you can share your voice. There's a survey on there that allows you to either put forward your views on it or, better still, express your interest in being directly involved in this process. We're planning to publish over the course of the next year and use it as a way of lobbying government more effectively for the change that there's consensus around needs to happen.
I don't doubt you will have a huge response. You maybe already have, but I'm sure you'll have a huge response from people either concerned or their loved ones or whatever. So thank you.
Everyone knows someone with an allergy.
Yeah, Professor Adam Fox, Chair of National Allergy Strategy Group. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.